Hello everyone, welcome to Travel Aviation X. Today we are going to discuss or talk about basics of aviation. Aviation, we have to understand that what actually is aviation. If we talk about aviation and if we talk about dictionary meaning of aviation, it is design, development, production, operation and use of aircraft, especially heavier than aircraft, or it can be military aircraft also. Now, when we talk about aviation industry, aviation is about aircraft, but when we talk about aviation industry, for aircraft, there should be airlines, there should be airports. So anything which is directly or indirectly related to aircraft will come under aviation. Now, what are different types of aviation around the world? So as you are seeing in picture, there are basically two types of categories as you are seeing here. First one is called as military aviation and second one is called as civil aviation. Now, what is military aviation? I bet everyone knows about it. Military aviation, the aircrafts, the airports which are used by our military is called as military aviation. And civil aviation is anything which is other than military. So civil aviation can also be called as non-military aviation. Civil aviation is further divided into these two categories. First one is commercial air transport and second one is general aviation transport. Now, if we are going to see these in detail, now first we will start with military aviation. Military aviation, like I told you earlier, it is use of aircraft or any other technology for military purposes. Now it can be combat operation, it can be transport and logistics, it can be surveillance and reconnaissance, which is basically finding out or locating enemies. It can be aerial refueling, it can be search and rescue, it can be training, or it can be strategic deterrence. Here are few examples like you can see here. These are the news cuttings. So first one is a recent news: Israeli Air Force is striking Hamas at rate not seen in decades. This Israeli Air Force, this thing is Israeli military aviation. And the second newspaper cutting you can see here is in about Indian Air Force. So it is Indian military aviation. So this is your military aviation. Now the second one is civil aviation. Like I told you earlier that it is anything which is other than military. So it is generally called as non-military aviation. It can be private or it can be commercial. It is further divided into two categories. First one is commercial air transport, as you can see here. What is commercial air transport? Commercial, which is involved in business, right? Where we have exchange of services and money. So, an aircraft operation where passengers are transported, cargo or mail is transported for remuneration or hire. It will be called as commercial air transport. Now, what is general aviation? General aviation, just opposite of it, where anything which is other than scheduled or non-scheduled services, it would come under general aviation. Now we will see this and understand this in detail with the help of this picture which I have taken from ICAO. You can see here this is proposed ICAO classification of civil aviation activities. This was given somewhere in 2016-17. Now, if we talk about civil aviation activities, it includes commercial air transport services and general aviation. Other than this, there are other activities also which you can see here, but this we will discuss in coming videos, not today. Now, in commercial air transport, they have scheduled and non-scheduled. Scheduled is something which has a proper timetable. For example, if you have to catch a flight from a place to another, you will go to some travel agencies or that airline's website and you will check the time, at what time you will have that flight. So that would be example of scheduled air transport. Then we have non-scheduled also. Non-scheduled where we do not have proper timing. It is according to our convenience or customers or passengers convenience, you will have air transport. Then if we talk about general aviation includes non-commercial business aviation and also aerial work. For example, for agriculture, for example, for crop dusting, you might have seen that some insecticides or pesticides are sprayed through helicopters. Those will come under general aviation. Then it can be construction, it can be photography. You might have seen that there are aerial photographies nowadays. Then surveying, then search and rescue, then aerial advertisement, instructional flying, pleasure flying. There are some kind of aircrafts or some companies which allows people to fly, that is pleasure flying. And there can be some other activities also which are not scheduled or non-scheduled. These comes in general aviation. So that was all about your basics of aviation, where we have learned about definition and different types of aviation. That was all for today. Thank you. We will meet in next video.